It was supposed to be just another Sunday. The kind where you drag yourself out of bed, toss on your best clothes, and make your way to church, even if your faith has been running on empty. That's what Marcus Bell had planned. He had no idea that in just 24 hours, his world would explode. His marriage, his trust, and the church he grew up in, gone in a trail of smoke and ash. Because that Sunday, Marcus walked in on his wife and their pastor. And the next day, the church burned to the ground. But let's back up, because this story, this tragedy, didn't start with a fire. It started with a lie, a long, slow poison that had been dripping into Marcus's life for months, maybe even years. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comment where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Marcus Bell was a 38-year-old mechanic from a small town in Georgia, Ashgrove. Population just under 2,000. The kind of place where everybody knows your name and your business. Marcus was a quiet man, hard-working, loyal, maybe too loyal. He married young, 24, to a woman named Denise. She had the kind of beauty that made people stop in the street. But it wasn't just that. Denise was charming, smart, quick with a laugh and quicker with her words. She could talk her way into or out of anything. They'd been married 14 years. No kids. Some said it was by choice. Others whispered it was because Denise had been pregnant once and lost it, and she'd never been the same. But through all the rumors, Marcus stayed loyal. Because when Marcus loved, he loved hard. And his biggest love, besides Denise, was his faith. Every Sunday, without fail, Marcus and Denise sat side by side at New Harmony Baptist Church. Row 3, same seats, same routine, week after week, year after year, until things started to change. 2 years ago, the old pastor retired. Heart issues, they said. In his place came a younger man, Pastor Elijah Brooks. 35, slick, polished, the kind of preacher who made you feel like God was texting him directly. He dressed sharp, spoke smooth, and had a way of making every woman in the church hang on his every word, including Denise. At first, Marcus didn't think much of it. Everyone liked Pastor Brooks. He was charismatic, motivating. He brought life to the church again. The pews filled up. The tithes went up. People were talking about New Harmony like it was being reborn. But then Marcus noticed things. Denise started going to church without him. Said she was volunteering more, helping with the women's ministry, assisting with the youth. Then there were the late-night calls, whispers in the kitchen, the soft smile she'd get when Pastor Brooks was mentioned. And still, Marcus said nothing. Because when you grow up believing in forgiveness, you tell yourself it's just a phase, that the devil tests you in strange ways, that your wife wouldn't betray you. Not like that. But faith only blinds you for so long. It was a Sunday in early spring. Marcus had been out of work for a few days. Flu, maybe something worse. He hadn't been to church. But that morning, something felt off. Denise had left early. Said she had to prep communion with the pastor. Something in her voice didn't sit right. So Marcus, still weak and tired, got dressed and drove to church. He walked in through the back, quiet, cautious. The sanctuary was empty. No choir, no ushers, no one. Until he heard the noise. It came from the pastor's office. Rhythmic creaking, laughter, then a voice he knew better than his own. Denise. Marcus's stomach turned. His vision blurred, but he kept walking, step by step. He opened the door, and there they were. Denise, tangled in the arms of Pastor Elijah Brooks. Her blouse undone, his belt on the floor. For a moment, no one moved. The world froze. Then Denise screamed. Pastor Brooks scrambled, stammered something about counseling and temptation. But Marcus didn't say a word. He just turned and walked away. That was the last time he ever spoke to his wife. Marcus didn't go home. He didn't call anyone. He just drove. Miles of highway blurred under his tires. The world outside moved fast, but inside his head, everything slowed down, like a reel of film stuck on one horrible frame. Her voice, that laugh, the way she didn't even look guilty until she was caught. He pulled into an old truck stop somewhere past Route 9, parked behind the building, and sat there for hours, thinking, breathing, breaking. That night, Marcus slept in his truck. By morning, the sun had risen, and with it, something else, something heavier than heartbreak. The fire started around 5:30 a.m. The first 911 calls came from a neighbor across the street. "The church is on fire," she said. "It's burning fast, too fast." By the time the fire trucks arrived, flames had already swallowed most of the main building. The sanctuary roof collapsed just before dawn. Stained glass shattered into sparks. Smoke poured out like a demon escaping its prison. New Harmony Baptist Church, the same one Marcus had been baptized at age 10, was reduced to ash and rubble, and nobody could understand why or how. No signs of a gas leak, no lightning, no electrical problems reported. Just fire. Pure, unforgiving fire. By noon, news crews were crawling all over Ash Grove. Local church in flames, arson suspected. Devastation in small town, faith tested by fire. The headlines wrote themselves. Sheriff's deputies cordoned off the ruins. Investigators combed through the debris. It didn't take long for them to find the signs, accelerant traces, forced entry near the back door, and a melted gas can buried under a beam. This wasn't an accident. It was deliberate, calculated, and once they ruled out electrical faults, suspicion turned toward motive. That's when the rumors started. Some said Pastor Brooks had enemies. Others whispered about stolen church funds. But most folks just looked toward one man, Marcus Bell. In small towns, justice moves fast, sometimes faster than the law. It didn't help that Marcus hadn't come home, didn't call, didn't explain. Denise had already gone to the sheriff. Tear-stained cheeks, shaky voice. She claimed Marcus had threatened her after catching her in the pastor's office. "He didn't yell," she said. "He just stared at us, like we were strangers. And then he left. But something about the way he walked out, I don't know. I got scared." Pastor Brooks backed her up. "Is unstable," he told deputies. "He needs help." By the end of the day, Marcus's name was on a warrant. They found him outside his old high school, parked in the shadows of the football bleachers. He didn't resist, didn't argue, didn't even ask why. Marcus was booked into Ash Grove County Jail at 11:42 p.m., charged with first-degree arson and destruction of a religious institution. Bail was denied. He barely spoke a word during questioning. The sheriff tried. His public defender tried. Even his sister, who drove in from Atlanta, begged him to explain. But Marcus only said one thing: "I didn't burn the church." He didn't say who did, or why, or what really happened between him, Denise, and the pastor. So the story the town clung to, the one fed by gossip and guilt, became the only truth that mattered. The trial began 3 months later. The prosecution painted Marcus as a broken man, shattered by betrayal, consumed by rage. They showed photos of a destroyed sanctuary, read Denise's statement to the jury, played security footage showing Marcus's truck near the church around 4 a.m. What they didn't have was direct evidence. No witnesses, no confession, no fingerprints on the gas can. But this was a town that wanted closure, that wanted someone to blame. Marcus sat stone-faced the whole time. No outbursts, no tears, just silence. The jury took 2 days to deliberate. Their verdict? Guilty. Marcus Bell was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The story should have ended there. Man finds wife cheating. Church goes up in flames. Justice served. But Ash Grove wasn't done with its secrets. A year after Marcus's sentencing, Pastor Elijah Brooks resigned. Cited personal reasons. Disappeared overnight. No forwarding address, no goodbye sermon. 2 weeks later, Denise Bell moved out of town, left her job, cleared out her house. And 6 months after that, a quiet confession. A janitor at the church, a man named Lyle Jacobs, was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He reached out to a local reporter, said he had something he needed to get off his chest. In a shaky, tear-filled interview, Lyle admitted he was the one who started the fire. Said he'd overheard a conversation between Denise and the pastor in the office days before the fire. Something about getting rid of distractions. About starting over. He claimed he found a gas can behind the building that night. He didn't know what he was doing, said he was drunk on guilt, thought he was doing God's work. The confession was recorded, aired publicly, but it didn't change much. Lyle passed away before he could testify. And the courts? They said the tape wasn't enough. Marcus stayed in prison. Today, the site of New Harmony Baptist Church is an overgrown lot, just a broken sign, a cracked foundation, and a memory most people try not to talk about. Denise never came back. Pastor Brooks was never seen again. And Marcus Bell? He sits in a cell in Valdosta Correctional Facility. He reads the Bible every morning, speaks to almost no one. And when asked every few years if he started that fire, he still says the same thing. I didn't burn the church. Then he looks away and whispers, but maybe I should have.